What's up, everyone? Welcome to round number 6, the halfway point in the ORL Racing League. We are here today at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and we are looking for some carnage. And Bristol is one of the smaller tracks, but also very fast track that we visit on the calendar. And it's right here at the midway point. This is where we're going to start seeing some things happen. Alright, now I'm going to head out on the track and do some quick laps just to show you guys what it's like to run here at Bristol. Now, I'm not the fastest guy, I will gladly admit that. Alright, and I have very little practice here at Bristol. But as you can see, just by looking at the 2 and the 41 here, there is definitely two grooves. There is the high line and the low line, and they're both looking like they're about even there. With the fresh tyres, you want to be more low and then go to high. Then after about lap 25, you'll probably see some people experimenting with going down low again. So let's get out on track and give it a crack. And there's also the two pit lanes here, so once we start having enough cars, you know, people are going to be using both the back straight and the front straight pit lanes. So as I said before, with fresher tyres, you want to be down low, all the way down towards the apron. Because I'm not fast, I'm going to be running middle on the straightaways just to let people by. I say that and then I go immediately high. You might even see some people experimenting with running the middle groove. It's not fast, but I don't think it's particularly slow either. So let's go do a couple of highline runs. You want to be right up close to that wall and not do that. There is a certain place on the wall, if you tap it just right, you can get a bit of a speed boost. The boys don't want to be utilising that during quali, but during practice in the race, they might flirt with that a little bit. And there we go. That is how we end our little run here to show you what it's like. And we have, in fact, even killed our engine. Not completely, but it's enough to do some damage to it. A very tight pit lane to get into.
Start looking for your sign.
And a very slow
5,
speed limit.
4, 3, 2, 1. Stop on the sign.
Alrighty, so let's get in and watch the practice session here. We do have some early pace setters in the form of Steve Turner, who is running on a current best of a 14.820. Austin Hakes is currently sitting P2, Jaron Sanchez 3, Brandon Bennett P4, Charles Becker in P5, Matt Burgess in P6, Brian Stone in 7, Jay Shallington in 8, Mark Pentecuff in 9 because my time does not count, and Robert Collins rounding out the top 10. At the moment we've got a fairly low car count. We are expecting some more people later on in the session to join, but at the moment we only have the 10 who have laid a time. Now let's just focus on Jaron for a bit here. I see he's running a lower line. In fact, he's just finished his run. So we're not going to keep watching Jaron. He's practicing getting onto the pits. He slowed up really quickly there. You know what? Let's go and watch Thomas Harmon, who's just joined into the server. As you can see, he's on fresher tyres, so he's running slightly lower. And see, he's gone mid to high line there. His first lap was a 15.044. And he goes back to the lower line there in 3 and 4. And goes a little bit faster with a 15.011. He pulls out of that one. As we go to the 41 car who's running the low line right now. Looks like he's working on a long run. His last lap was a 15.2. Now we have 12 cars in the race, signed up and ready to go. Just an interesting little tidbit with the 14 cars who are actually in this server, myself included. The strength of field right now is sitting at a 1945. I mean, it doesn't count for anything, but it's just a good little piece of useless information. As we can see the 41 there going through, we see the 14 coming into the pits. He makes it nicely into the pit lane as the 3 car just about missed it there. Let's go back on to Thomas. I can't see split times, but it looks like he might be onto a bit of a flyer here. Just seeing how his car will react. Thomas is one of the more experienced cars here at Bristol. I'm not sure how much running he's got in the B car, but he is fast whenever he steps onto the track. You see him starting to go back up to the higher line now. Looks like he's just trying to find his groove where he's going to be comfortable throughout the race. He's still running in the very low 15s with another 15.095 there. We still have 12 cars on track. Alright, we've got about 15 minutes, 16 minutes left in this practice session. Let's see if anyone's going to do a quali run. Let's see if we can get some of these times to drop. I was speaking to Steve earlier on in practice, and he says that in the A car he could probably get down to a 14.5. Now these ain't no A car, but they're probably a little bit better suited to this track than the A cars are. Let's go check in with our league owner and operator, Jaron, as he's working on the outside of the 16 there. Jaron is currently sitting P3 overall in the practice session with a 14.956. It looks like he's starting to try and look at making a move on the 2 of Mark Pentecoff. Oh, and Jaron's hit the wall. That's exactly what I did earlier on when I was showing you guys the track. And we have a new man on top of the leaderboard with the 28 of Austin Hakes. As you see, this cream is certainly starting to rise up to the top. Austin is always one of the more consistent drivers, running at the front of the field, and he's got the top time with a 14.815, just 5 thousandths of a second faster than Steve Turner's fastest time. As he gets into the wall a little bit there. I'm not sure if that's iRacing just playing an optical illusion on me or not, but it definitely looked and sounded like he got into the wall a little bit there.
That's it, go.
As my pit crew tells me that my repairs are done, even though I'm not going back out on track. But we are starting to see more and more cars jumping into the race now. And we see Thomas Harmon is on a flyer right now. Well, he was at least. He's just moved himself up 4 spots into 3rd place with a 14.946. He's going to be wanting to find a little bit more time than that if he wants to try and take the top spot away from Austin and Steve. Let's just sit here and watch him for a little bit. In fact, let's see if I can do a thing here. Let's go and jump into his cockpit. If I can get this right. Oh! We jumped in right in time for him to get it all wrong there. So we're just going to go focus on crashes now. I set it to focus on crashes. The first person it looked at was the 4-car of Joan Sanchez. We're looking at the 16 car. He's looking pretty smooth there. And now we're on the 3. As we see the 2 get it all wrong. Now we're looking at the 14. Let's have a look from his nose here. Oh. That was a little bit scary, I won't lie. As we're in the cockpit now of Austin Hakeson, the 28, as he's trying to make his way to pit road. That was a nice entry there. as we're going to have a look from the gearbox of Thomas Harmon. It's a bit of a weird view, but we'll roll with it. Gyrocam time now. This just illustrates how much banking there is. I mean, look at that. That is almost a 45-degree angle. That is crazy. We're going to go back out and just focus on crashes again. As we see Thomas coming back out onto the track. '14 car looks like he's running rather smoothly, and there's also the 3 there. '3 is currently sitting in P9, and the 14 is currently sitting in the 12th position. Looking at Thomas Harmon now, the 4 car still sitting, oh sorry, the 38 car still sitting in 4th. As, oh, that looked a bit nasty. Let's just see what happened to him there. Oh, he just gave that wall a tap and held the brake too hard, got it into, oh! Steve Turner just absolutely punted him in the nose. Wow, that's gotta hurt. So if you guys are watching right now on YouTube, then could you please write down in the chat, who do you think is going to win? Who are you expecting to take this one and run away with it? If I had to pick, I would have to pick Thomas Harmon, because he does have a lot of luck when it comes to running here at Bristol. And that's me trying to be as unbiased as possible. And we're now down to 5 minutes left in the practice session. We're going to be heading off into qualifying very shortly. The 15 cars in the server, the strength of field for those of you counting at home, has now gone up to 2,035. And that does include myself. We see 28 now, the Austin Hakes car coming back out onto the track as the 18 Brian Stones went for a little bit of a spin there. Let's go focus on the 28 for a little bit. It's currently still the fastest time. And he's getting pretty damn close to nailing it again. We've also got Thomas Harmon back on track. Let's see what he can do. It's Bristol, baby, that's right. Let's have a look from close against the wall on Thomas's car here. You can see the camera actually goes through the wall a little bit. That's how close to it he's getting. See that? The camera went completely through the wall. That's absolutely crazy. You don't get this from a NASCAR broadcast. We have a look behind him. Doesn't look like there's much going on back there either. Oh, he's hit the wall. He's got it wrong. He hit the wall and went for a spin. We were on board there. That was a little bit scary. It looks like we're focused on the 18 of... Oh no, the 14, sorry. Oh, a little bit of check up there. The 14 of Robert Collins. I know, they're so high tech they go through walls. What a world we live in. Right, we're down to the last minute. Who is going to sit their car on the top of the leaderboard here for practice? At the moment, Austin's still sitting on top, looking pretty good. Thomas is out there making another run though. Oh, no, he's gone. No, he's there. He's still there. He's got a 14.914 on that lap, and he has pulled out of it. Says, nah, that's all the practice I want. We see Jaron doing a burnout in the pits. Burning it down for the Output Racing League. And that is the end of practice, everyone. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back with gridding and the race. Alrighty, welcome back everyone, and we are starting to grid up. This is where things are going to start getting serious. 150 laps around here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. As you can see, we've got Austin Hakes starting off the pole with Thomas Harmon in P2. And we've got Steve Turner in P3, and the 57 of Thomas Bordeaux in P4. We've got Jamie Dobbs in the 77 in P5, Charles Becker in 6, Jay Shallington in 7, Jaron Sanchez in 8, Matty Burgess in 9, Brian Stones in 10, Brandon Bennett in 11, Rob Collins in 12, Mark Pentecuff in 13, and that will round out the field. Just a 13 car field, but that's okay. The action should be electric. Alright, everyone's going to start clicking in the gear. We're going to get these guys away and racing very shortly. Don't forget, guys in chat, to write down who do you think is going to win this race. I still have my money personally on Thomas Harmon, because he's not only been dominant in this season, but he in the past has shown that he is very dominant around here at Bristol.
And it's one of his favourite tracks too.
That is exactly right, Brogan. And everyone, I'd like you to welcome to the broadcast booth, Brogan Picken Norris, my normal commentator. How have you been, Brogan?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. How's everyone out there and yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited to watch this race. I was saying to Jaron earlier in the practice session that I might just leave you to do all the commentary and I'll go and join the race myself.
Oh, you can do that, buddy.
No, I wouldn't do that to you, and anyway, I'm under contract to do the commentating.
Fair enough.
Right, it looks like the pace car lights are out. We're going to be getting ready to go green very shortly. In fact, the pace car should be pulling in just after this corner. We've got Alyssa Sanchez in the chat, rooting for her husband, the 4 of Jaron, starting from P8. And we are off and underway here.
And look at that, Thomas Harmon has already got his nose stuck out in first. He's already on first.
Now Thomas, it's dumbfounding. He can just find the grip no matter where he is on the track. I think he might have been sandbagging it a little bit in practice, but when it comes race time, he is just on it. But Austin is right there on his tail. Let's have a look at the gyro cam here. Looking out of Austin's windscreen at Thomas Harmon. You see the flames being spit out as they are going through the corner there. Thomas looks like he's got a little bit of a bad run there through that corner. Austin caught up to him a little bit. He's got a run coming through 3 and 4. Takes the low side. And we have a battle for the lead now. Austin's pulled back a little bit. Thomas has gotten that run with the momentum up high. But Austin is still looking low. These guys have just absolutely taken off and away from the field. And we have a safety car. Let's see if we can go back and have a look at what happened there. See a spun car. So 12 and the 18. The 12 tapped the 18 and they both have gone for a spin. That's unfortunate for both of them. Let's hope they can get things going again shortly. Few people going in for pit stops already. Looks like the leaders are staying out. Although in saying that, Austin has gone for the pit stop. We've got Charles Becker who stayed out, Steve Turner who has stayed out, I believe. Matt Burgess has stayed out as well. Just got to wait for everyone to roll over the finish line so everything can update for me as far as the little cheat sheet that I got here goes. So it looks like we got Thomas Harmon in the lead still, Tommy Bordeaux starting out of P2 on the restart, Steve Turner in 3, Charles Becker out of 4, Austin Hakes has dropped down to 5th, Matty Burgess in 6, Jamie Dobbs in 7. Looks like everyone's starting to get formed up. Even though the lights are still on, it just helps things move a little bit smoother. And in fact, I was wrong. There was someone else who was dropped down. Matty Burgess has gone for another pit stop there. And that's promoted everyone from Jamie Dobbs downwards back up a position. So Jamie Dobbs is now out of 6, Jaron Sanchez out of 7, Brandon Bennett out of 8, Mark Pentecoff out of 9, Robert Collins out of 10, Brian Stones out of 11th, and Jay Shallington out of 12th. The lights on the safety car are out. We're going back green this time by. And we're going to watch this one from Thomas's right rear suspension. We see his S2R team name right there on the car. Looking back at the nose of Steve Turner. And we are green. Thomas has just taken a commanding lead there on this restart. Look at that already. And again, you know, the usual suspects are at the front of the field. Thomas, Tommy, Steve and Austin. As you see, Jaron has made a position on the restart there. He's gotten around the 77. He's gotten around the 41 even. And now he's gotten around the 16. Can he hold on to it? Can this be P5 for Jaron? And in fact, it is now P5 for Jaron Sanchez. As we're going to go back to our leaders here. Now, Austin is making a move on the inside of Steve Turner. Couldn't quite pull it off, and Steve is now looking to the inside of Tommy, but couldn't get there. Gonna go back and focus on Steve a little bit here. And let's actually go to Steve's bumper cam as we have a look at the back of Tommy Bordeaux. You see TommyBordeaux.com on the back of Tommy's car there. This just gives you an idea of the speed. Look at how quickly all the stickers on the wall are going past these cars. It's not as fast as other tracks, but it's still pretty dang fast. We go back outside to our TV view now, and Austin has made the pass. He's on the inside. He just needs to slide up there and take the position over Steve. It's a question or not of whether he can do it. And Steve has started to drop back. The 28 has just powered away from him. As we see now, we've got a three-way battle for the lead. We're going to watch this one from inside of Austin's car. Have a look at the gyro cam. As he goes on the inside of the Thomas car. Couldn't quite get there, but he's still going to work it. And Tommy has taken the lead here. So let's have a look back at this battle from his left rear quarter panel. Austin is just absolutely working that low line to perfection. He hasn't quite got the move pulled up, and as you can see, Steve Turner has joined back in with the battle, and he's brought Jaron Sanchez up there with him. And Thomas has fallen back to third, but he is trying to make that move back onto Austin. See, this is the advantage new tyres has. Thomas didn't get new tyres, but Tommy and Austin did.
And it looks like Steve gave Thomas a bit of a bump there.
And that'd be all fair play, it's just a short track thing. And Austin is starting to make his move on Tommy. Austin just gets that move done very smoothly. I think Tommy might have just let him have it there. We're just going to go have a quick little squiz back here at this little battle for a second. You got the 4 Jaron Sanchez trying to find his way around the 13 of Steve Turner. He's looking high, he's looking low. He can't quite get it, and he's got trouble behind him with Jamie Dodds and Brandon Bennett. Now Jaron reckons that he's got all of his fuel problems sorted this week. Let's hope he does. He doesn't want to have another race where he mysteriously runs out of fuel.
Or doesn't gain any.
And he's got the 77 underneath him. That is Jamie Dobbs looking to make the move down low. We're going to have a look at this from the bumper of the 41 as he tried to have a look at the 77 as well. Just close, fast-paced action here. 77 is underneath the 4 of Jaron. Look at how close they're getting. You couldn't even get a rolly paper over these guys right now. And you see there's also been a move done. Oh!
There's contact between the 41 and 77.
And we were on board nose cam for the 41 there. We saw that one happen. Oh, that is unfortunate for both of them guys. And that's going to shake things up a little bit. We're going to go focus back on Thomas here. We got Austin in the lead of this race. The 14 car, as you can see there, is actually a lap down. He'll probably get the lucky dog. But that was crazy. Let's go see if we can find the outside view of that incident. Yep, it looked like just one of them racing deals. Just that one little touch is all that it took. And it sent them both spinning. As we're back in with the leader of the race now, which is the car of Austin. Although the 77 is scored as the leader, according to my little apps here, that is not the case. I think he might have gone for leading a lap points. Alright, on this restart, we're going to go do a crank it up. So make sure you have your volume absolutely cranked up to the maximum. As we come around, the lights should be going out on the pace car this time by. We're going to give it about 5 laps of where there will be no commentary, and all you're going to hear is the sweet soothing sounds of these Xfinity cars tearing it up at Bristol Motor Speedway. And they come out of turn 4, the pace car is in. They're off and racing again, so let's crank it up. Alrighty, and we are now back And it looks like Austin Hakes has just gotten an unassailable lead right now, nearly half a second over Thomas Harmon. We got Steve Turner sitting in P3, but he is under heavy pressure from Tommy Bordeaux. Jaron was up behind these guys, but looks like he's starting to drop off a little bit. Might be just trying to conserve his tyres a little bit, but he just smashed the wall there. And now he's fallen into the clutches of the 41 of Brandon Bennett. So we're going back up to Austin here, who has 0.8 of a second of a lead over Thomas right now. And we are now 55 laps in the book of 150. We're getting close to the halfway point. We could, in fact, be starting to think about getting some green flag pit stops shortly. I mean, even though that seems like a crazy idea, the thing is, these fuel tanks will last about 73 to 75 laps. Depends on how good you are at your fuel saving. So, yeah, by around about lap 75, you could see people starting to pit so they can fuel up to the end of the race. And any pit stop they make from there on after would be tyres only. Let's go back and check in with Jaron. He is under pressure from the 77 of Jamie Dobbs right now, as Jaron goes up and hits the wall again. Well, let's go on board with the 41 car as he watches the battle here. Jaron's looking like he's not having a very good time. In fact, he has lost 2 positions there. He's still on the outside of Brandon, but things are not looking good for him. It's fallen back to 7th place. As we go back to Thomas Harmon now. Still sitting P2, still, you know, just a little bit off the pace as far as Austin is concerned, but he has pulled a gap on Steve Turner in the third place, who is under pressure from the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux. In fact, Tommy is looking very threatening right now. Let's have a look at this from the rear chase camera. We got invisible cameras mounted absolutely everywhere on these cars. As you can see, Steve is very calm on the steering wheel. He's not jerking it. Just nice, smooth movements there. And he's holding off Tommy's advances. In fact, it looked like Tommy might have gotten into the wall a little bit there on the exit of 4. We go back to our TV cameras now. It looks like Thomas is starting to make a little bit of ground on Austin. Austin's running the high line, Thomas is running a low line. And he did in fact gain a 10th on that lap. And Austin is starting to get into lap traffic now. He's gotten around to 2 of Mark Pentecoff. And puts him in front of Thomas to try and deal with. Thomas got a little bit balked there behind Mark, but makes the pass easy enough. And Thomas is still gaining time on Austin, even with having to deal with that lapped car of Mark. Things could be starting to get interesting here. And Austin, I don't know what happened there. He's just lost all the advantage he had. There's Thomas on his inside. Can he make the pass for the lead? Not quite that time. The momentum of that high line was just too much for Thomas, but he's still right there. He's so close to getting that move done. Could we possibly see a bump and run scenario? I mean, Thomas is absolutely charging on this low line. He's still pulling faster lap times than Austin is. The last lap Thomas did a 15.876, Thomas a 15.964. That momentum up high just seems like it's too great. As you see the 3 there of Jay Shallington being very smart, getting out of the way of this battle for the lead. As Thomas has a run down low, Austin went a little bit too high there, but that momentum that Austin is getting off that high line is just unassailable right now. Thomas has the run. They're coming up on the back of Brian Stones in the 18 car. Will he play a factor? Nope. He pulls to the apron and Thomas balked Austin and takes the lead of this motor race. In other news, Jaron has slipped all the way back to 9th place. And we have a caution. I'm not sure what happened. We're going to have to go back and take a look at it. Oh, the 57.
That's the rear quarter of the number 2.
Let's go back and have a look at that one from on board the 57. Oh yeah. No matter how you shake it, it just doesn't look good for him. You see everyone's come back out from pit stops now. And Thomas is still in the lead. Austin P2. We'll see how things shake out when they come across the timing line. So yeah, we got Thomas in P1, Austin P2, Brandon Bennett P3, Brian Stones P4, Steve Turner in P5, Tommy Bordeaux P6, Charles Becker 7, Jaron Sanchez 8, Jamie Dobbs in 9, and Matt Burgess rounding out the top 10. Now everyone is safe to make it to the end on fuel from here, so that'll make Jaron very happy. Because yeah, the memes were strong last week when Jaron ran out of fuel after botching his green flag pit stop. Oh, there definitely was. It was a very funny time to be a part of the Output Racing League Discord server.
It nearly felt like a Greg Murphy time as well, when he took off with his filler cap, not filler hose I should say.
And for the Americans who don't know about that, it's a V8 supercar driver who took off with his fueling rig still connected to the car, and it ripped the hose apart, and the driver copped a 5-minute penalty at the biggest race of the season. And the pace car's back in, and we are back underway. Thomas has taken a very early lead there with a very good jump. You see Steve on the outside of actually the 41 there of Brandon Bennett take the third place away from him. It looks like even Jaron has made up a position into P6. Charles Becker in the 16 has lost a couple spots. And Jamie Dobbs has gained a position as he got around Charles Becker, making it a 3-position loss since the restart for the 16 of Charles Becker. Let's go back and have a look at Jaron for a second. He's under pressure behind him from Jamie in the 77. Still sitting in P6 at the moment. Now Jaron's starting to get a run on the 41 of Brandon Bennett as well. Couldn't quite pull it off on the outside there. But that 77 is coming. He is right on Jaron's tail. As Jaron gets that run again, gets around the outside of the 41. Can he get the momentum to keep the position?
And that is P5.
Exactly right. And right behind him, Jamie Dobbs is also going for the position. He's gotten himself 6th place. And just like that, Brandon Bennett has dropped 2 positions. And now Jamie is trying to make the move on Jaron on the low side. He doesn't quite have it at the line, but let's see what he can do. Can he take that 5th place away from Jaron, who desperately needs a good result? Jaron looks like he's trying to diamond off the exit a little bit there on the corner. So he rolls in really high in mid and then just cuts down very slightly on exit. And he holds on to that 5th position. As we're going to go back and have a look at what Thomas is up to at the front of the pack. And Thomas is on the low line, so is Austin. As we can hear the tyres screeching in protest as they're going around these tight little corners. Now, Austin and Thomas have been having a season-long battle, and Steve, I do believe, is still our points leader, is just sitting pretty in third place, waiting for these two to make a mistake. But the top four have just taken away from the rest of the field. These two have taken away from third and fourth, which are being held by Steve Turner and Tommy Bordeaux, respectively. But even then, you know, Tommy has a bit of a lead over Jaron in fifth place, to the tune of about a second and a half. I mean, and these guys are all high-ranking drivers. The top four are all A-class drivers on iRacing with at least a 3.0 safety rating. I mean, Jaron is a B-class driver with a 3.49, and then 6th place Struden 9th is all A-class as well. And as I alluded to earlier on, out of the 15 cars, myself and Brogan included, the strength of field for this race is a 2035. And with the way strength of field works is it adds up everyone's I rating and then divides it by the amount of cars in the race. And that's where you get your strength of field from. So if this was an official race, you know, I'd be in a good position to gain some I rating.
So would I.
But in saying that, we'd both be in a terrible position as well because, well, we're not driving.
That is exactly right there, Corey.
So let's have a little run through the field here. So we've got Thomas still out front. He's starting to build a gap over the second place of Austin Hakes. Sitting pretty in third, as I alluded to before, is the 13 of Steve Turner. Sitting in P4 is the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux. In P5 is the 4 car, the Output Racing Aussie Sim commentator Speedway Memes, number 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Right behind him on his tail is the 77 of Jamie Dobbs, who is looking like he wants to make a move and wants to make it very quickly. Jaron hits the wall actually. And Jamie has gotten that position, so swap those two around. Jamie P5, Jaron P6. In P7 we have the 41 of Brandon Bennett, just sitting off behind these two a little bit. In P8 we have the 12 of Matty Burgess. And right behind him is the 16 of Charles Becker, sitting in 9th place. And rounding out the top 10 is the 18 of Brian Stones. As we're going to go and focus back on the 38 now of Thomas. He's still holding a slender margin over Austin, but Austin is right there on his tail. We're 115 laps down, 45 to go. Things are going to start heating up very shortly. People usually say that it's the last 20 laps that matter. I think it's the last 40. Because this track is so small, you want to get that run going as soon as you can. Another thing these two are going to have to factor in very shortly, again, is lap traffic. As they are starting to catch up to the back of the 18 of Brian Stones. Oh, Thomas looked like he tapped the wall a little bit there on the main straight. Austin is right on his ass. He's brown nosing him almost so hard that he'd be up to his nose at the very least. as they come around turn 2, along the back straight and into turn 3. I think Austin might be a little bit flabbergasted about where he's going to try and make this pass work, because at this stage in a run, the outside line is not going to be as fast as the inside. And the outside might have been faster earlier with the momentum, but as the tyres fall off, the inside line really comes back into its own groove again. And there hasn't been too terribly much change of position lately, as they are now on the back of the 18 of Brian Stones. Is it going to affect the lead of this race at the moment? It doesn't look like it will just yet. Brian runs high, Thomas runs low, and so does Austin. Brian keeps it up there. Good job, Brian. And Thomas just started to build a margin again with the fastest lap for that lap. In fact, no, I'm wrong. Steve Turner has the fastest lap for that lap with a 15.912. Austin did Thomas did a 15.915. As we hear the clip-clop of my puppy dog, who's just come bolting into the room, chasing after a fly, because that's what he does. And Thomas is starting to build a bit of a margin over Austin again now. And Austin did have a faster lap on that last lap, but it looks like at this point in time it's just a little bit futile as we come around to start lap 129. Now, if you're not starting to get serious at this point in the race, then you're not going to be serious at all. Looks like Thomas is starting to charge up his after booster and starting to take off and away. As we start lap 131, that means that we've got 20 laps to go. Thomas is starting...
These next 20 laps will be short ones too.
Oh yes, with only a 15.9 second lap, 16 second laps, this race will be over very quickly. As we're starting to come up onto the back of some heavy lap traffic there. The leader is right on the tail of Charles Becker and Mark Pentecoff. Mark wisely gets out of the way, goes another lap down. In fact, sorry, I was wrong, it's Jay Shillington. Or Shallington, sorry. So there's Mark being put another lap down. That makes him 3 laps down in this race. It sucks for Mark, but it's still not bad as long as he can finish the race. There's Jay right in front of Thomas now. Austin is starting to drop back like a rock from the back of Thomas, trying to figure out how to get around this lap traffic. You see Rob Collins also laps down, and Thomas is being held up behind these two. He threads the needle in between the 2 lap cars. That was just absolutely smooth. He did lose a bit of time to Austin there, but Austin lost a little bit of time as well sitting behind them. The leaders have a little bit of clear space now before they get to the next lap car, and looking at my timing marker here, Jaron has just lost a position to Brandon Bennett. So chalk up P6 for Brandon and P7 for Jaron. And in fact, Matty Burgess has also gotten around Jaron. What's going on with Jaron Sanchez? He's dropping like a rock. It looked like he got caught up behind the 18 of Brian Stones and couldn't get back down to his preferred line. And he's got to chase on the back of these guys again to try and get some position back. And they are also, like, they're in a tough battle here. The 41, the 12 and the 4 are all battling for 6th place. Matt Burgess has gotten himself around the 41, and put himself into P6. Jaron is trying to look for a way back around the 41. It doesn't look like he's going to quite get that pulled off. We're in the final 10 laps of this race, ladies and gentlemen. This race is going so quickly that at the line we have 8 laps to go. As the 38 here of Thomas Harmon is coming up onto the back of Brian Stone. Oh, no, sorry, not Brian Stones. Charles Becker in the 16. Charles gets out of the way very wisely and is now a lap down. The next car that Thomas will have to put a lap down will be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez sitting in P8. And you see the pace has really started to slow down now. Everyone is in the 16-second bracket as far as lap times are concerned. The fastest lap of the last lap was 16.028 set by Thomas Harmon. The fastest lap of the race so far has actually been done by Austin Hakes with a 14.829. As we come up with 3 to go the next time that they come across the line, it looks like Thomas has got this well and truly wrapped up, because Austin is about 2 seconds behind him. Steve Turner is about another 3 seconds behind Austin. And this is all just smooth, calculated driving as we come up around 3 and 4 for the penultimate lap. And we are now on the white flag lap, ladies and gentlemen. Here he comes, Thomas Harmon. Make some hype in chat. As he comes around to finish this race, he is still winning. Here he comes for the final time across the line. That is the win for Thomas Harmon.
3 in a row.
Can anyone stop Thomas Harmon and his mystical Bristol powers? Austin Hakes got P2 and Steve Turner in P3. See a little bit of camaraderie there as Thomas gets ready for his burnout. Yeah, he'll be very happy because in his previous league race run just a little bit before this one, he got involved in an incident. So we'll probably talk to him a little bit about that as he does a little bit of a backwards burnout and keeps it going again. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick little break here and we will be back with our top 3 and our hard charger. Alrighty guys, we are back and we are with our third place getter, Steve Turner. Steve, how was that race from your perspective, man?
Just pretty boring. I just sat and rode around third the whole race.
Well, it may have been boring, but this is going to be good points for your championship overall, isn't it?
Yeah, I get good points as I couldn't do anything. I couldn't figure the track out, so I would like to get out there and mess with them guys for the lead, but they just blew us away again.
Yeah, they were definitely very fast, especially on restarts. It looks like on the view of your car that we got here, you got a little bit of damage on your right hand side. Did you happen to get into the wall a couple of times?
Yeah, I was definitely pushing it a little bit too hard and got the wall off for a lot.
Alrighties, man. Well, thank you for your time. Good luck next week, and we'll see you there.
All right, thanks.
Alrighty, guys. That was Steve. And now we're going to move on to our second place getter, the 28 of Austin Hakes. Austin, how are you feeling, man, after that P2?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I started on the pole, which was kind of unexpected for me. Hadn't been qualifying too well. Showed good speed during practice, so this wasn't good enough to get the pole, I didn't think. Ended up losing the lead at the green flag to Thomas. Had a pretty good battle with Steve, Tommy, and Thomas, and ended up taking the lead there in the first run. It was like about 40 laps into the second run, I noticed that I just didn't have the speed or the grip to keep Thomas away, and from there it's pretty much Thomas. I could stay within about a second of him in that last run, but once again lap 40 and I lost him. So.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that last 20 laps there for a little bit, because you did start to drop off behind him a lot. So was it just a combination of trying to get around the lap traffic who were possibly on worse tyres, and the degradation of your own tyres that made you drop down so far?
Yeah, I'd say that. Bristol and lap traffic, it's always been pretty tough. But I think most of it was just my tires. Like I said, once I hit lap 40, just didn't have the grip to really catch Thomas, and it looked like he didn't have that problem. But no, lap traffic, it's always a problem, but for the most part, it was pretty good tonight. So.
Alright, well, congratulations on your P2, man. It's good to see you up there again. Too bad you couldn't catch Thomas and his mystical Bristol powers.
Yeah, well, hopefully next week we're on to Vegas, so hopefully I see you guys.
Alright, well, is there anyone you'd like to shout out while you're here, man?
Yeah, real quick, I'd like to thank my teammate Tommy Bordeaux. He ended up 4th tonight. I'd also like to thank him for allowing me to put his website, tommybordeaux.com, on the car. If you haven't already, be sure to check that out. And I'd like to thank Jaron for putting together the league. I really love racing here. And also big thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Well, that's no worries at all. Thank you very much for participating in the league, man. You also, just for a little bit of a useless fact, had the fastest lap in that race with a 14.829.
That's kind of unexpected, but I'll take it.
Alright, well, thank you for your time, man. Good luck next week at Vegas.
Thank you.
And now we're going to move on to our winner for this race. He's done it again, 3 in a row, and I kind of expected it. I called it out earlier. He has mystical Bristol powers. We are now speaking to the number 38, Thomas Harmon. Thomas, man. Damn. 3 in a row.
How are you doing this?
Bristol's fun. That's all I gotta say.
Are you some kind of alien?
Maybe at Bristol, but I don't know about anywhere else.
Well, the only reason why we're asking is because this is 3 in a row. This is becoming a bit of a bad habit for you, man.
Yeah, after this week I should cool down and start going to tracks where I don't have that much experience in these cars or have never been to in these cars, so I should cool off a little bit, let some other...
Yeah, well, it'd be nice to see someone else up there, but This is going to be some good points for your championship overall. 3 wins in a row, making sure you bank them while you can.
Yeah. Uh, Unfortunately, I missed one race, and that put me in one heck of a points hole. Otherwise, I think I'd have something to say about the top of the list.
Oh, I definitely think you would have, because you are consistently one of the faster drivers. Even on your so-called bogey tracks, you are definitely right up there with the front-running pack.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alright, and also, man, let's just have a little chat about that, the last 20 laps there. We spoke to Austin, and he was struggling with tyre grip as well as the lap traffic. How were you able to save your tyres so much and just absolutely pull away from him in that last little sector?
It's all about being smooth, and you don't really have to drive the corners as hard as you think you do. And if you take care of your tires by staying on that low line early in the run, it will definitely benefit you big time late in the run. Because that high side just chews up your tires like no other, and it makes the car really tight.
Alright, man, is there anyone you'd like to thank while you were here?
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting, Jaron for putting on the league, and all the competitors for, especially Austin for making me work for it tonight, and for any friends and family that might be watching.
Alright, well, thank you very much for your time, man. Congratulations on your turkey of wins. And we'll see you next week at Vegas.
Yep, I'll be there. Thank you.
Alrighty, guys. Next up, we got a little bit of a special treat here. We are going to reveal our hard charger and also have a little chat with him. So this week we've done all the calculations, we had a look at the qualifying and all that, and we've come back, and the winner of the hard charger for this week is the 41 of Brandon Bennett. Brandon, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're not doing too bad at all, mate. So, you got the hard charger again, and I think this is your second one overall.
Yeah, I believe so. I just keep digging.
Yeah, well, that's what matters, man. If you don't keep digging, then, you're not going to get very far. I'm just having a quick little squeeze. Actually, no. I think this might be your first one, actually. Unless I've done something wrong overall. But yeah, anyway, man, let's have a little chat about the race. How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, so I botched my qualifying run. I knew I could run top 5, but I qualified 11th, and I just kind of worked my way up from there. At the bottom, I felt like that second to last run, I was catching them, to include Thomas. But then I think I wore my tires out too much on that last run to do anything with the top 5.
So let's have a little chat about the battle that you were having with Matt Burgess and Jaron Sanchez there, especially towards the end. You guys looked like you were in a very intense battle there.
Yeah, that was fun. Jaron is 25 to go, so he's giving it all. Yeah, that was real fun.
It looked like a lot of fun from our perspective, and you kept your nose clean for most of the race. I think you were involved in an incident earlier on, were you not?
Yeah, me and the 77 got together. I like to work the bottom here at Bristol because I feel like that saves my tires the best. And we kind of just met right at the middle of and I tapped them.
Yeah, I honestly think you should go back and have a look at the broadcast on the YouTube, man. We were actually on board with you having a look out from your bumper when that accident happened. It was quite a cool view to see.
Oh yeah, I'll have to do that. Yeah, it's one of those deals, it wasn't on purpose, and I like running that bottom line. I know everybody runs the top, but I like that bottom line, and sometimes that happens.
Alright, man, while you're here, is there anyone that you'd like to thank or just give a general shout out to?
No, I'm good. Thanks for everything, putting on the league and doing the broadcast. Appreciate it, and I'll try to get them next.
Alright, no worries, man. We look forward to seeing you next week at Las Vegas. Good luck there.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Alrighty, guys, and that will wrap us up for this week's ORL race here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. For myself and for Brogan Pickett Norris, we will see you guys next week at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.